Imagine going to bed on a cold December night. Your husband says the family is staying home. Your two young boys are asleep in their beds. By sunrise, you're gone. No goodbye, no phone call, no note, just an empty house and two little boys with a story that would leave investigators asking one haunting question: what really happened to Susan Powell? Even after years of investigations, thousands of hours of searching, and intense national media coverage, Susan Powell has never been found. This is one of the most heartbreaking missing person cases in American history. Susan Powell was a 28-year-old wife, mother of two young boys, and a financial clerk living in West Valley City, Utah. Friends described her as kind, devoted to her children, and hard-working. But behind closed doors, investigators later learned that her marriage to her husband, Josh Powell, had become increasingly troubled. According to family members and friends, Susan had expressed concerns about her relationship and had confided that she feared for her safety if anything ever happened to her.
If something happens to me or my family, covering all my bases.
Those concerns would later become a major focus of the investigation. On the evening of December 6th, 2009, a winter storm blanketed the Salt Lake City area with snow. Susan spent the evening at home with Josh and their two sons, Charlie and Braden. The next morning, Susan failed to show up for work. This was highly unusual. Co-workers couldn't reach her. Family members grew worried. When police conducted a welfare check, they found the Powell home empty. Susan's purse, wallet, driver's license, and personal belongings were still inside. There were signs that she had planned to return, but Susan herself was gone. Josh Powell told investigators something that immediately raised eyebrows. He claimed that around midnight, during a snowstorm, he loaded his two young children into the family van and took them camping in western Utah. Many found the explanation difficult to understand. Camping in freezing temperatures after midnight with two small children. The story only became more puzzling as investigators examined the timeline. One of the Powell children later made statements that investigators considered significant, though interpretations of those statements have been debated over the years. Meanwhile, detectives searched the Powell home, vehicles, and surrounding areas. Despite extensive efforts, they found no definitive evidence explaining Susan's disappearance. As the investigation expanded, Susan's family publicly pleaded for answers. Police searched deserts, mines, and remote areas across Utah and neighboring states. Hundreds of volunteers joined search efforts. National media outlets covered the case extensively. Investigators also examined journals, emails, and recordings that revealed Susan had documented problems within her marriage. She had written about financial issues, relationship struggles, and fears for her future. Although Josh Powell remained the primary person of interest in the investigation, he was never charged in connection with Susan's disappearance. Authorities repeatedly stated that the investigation remained active. Yet, without Susan's whereabouts or sufficient evidence to bring criminal charges, the case stalled. In the years that followed, the Powell family's story took an even more devastating turn. In February 2012, during a court-ordered supervised visit with his two sons at his home in Washington state, Josh Powell prevented the social worker from entering the house. Moments later, he intentionally set the home on fire. Josh and both boys died in the blaze. The tragedy shocked the nation and forever changed the course of the case. With Josh's death, many believed the best chance of learning what happened to Susan had been lost. For Susan's family, it was another unimaginable heartbreak. Not only had Susan vanished without answers, but her 2 young sons had also lost their lives. Today, Susan Powell remains missing. Her body has never been recovered. No one has ever been charged in connection with her disappearance. Investigators continue to ask for information, hoping someone may still come forward with the missing piece of the puzzle. For Susan's parents and loved ones, the search has never truly ended. They continue to seek answers, justice, and, above all, the chance to bring Susan home. Some mysteries fade with time, others only become more painful. Susan Powell's disappearance is more than an unsolved case. It's the story of a mother whose life was cut short, 2 children whose futures were tragically lost, and a family still searching for answers. More than 15 years later, one question remains. What happened to Susan Powell on that snowy December night? Until that question is answered, her story will continue to be one of America's most heartbreaking, unsolved mysteries. Before you leave, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What part of Susan Powell's case stands out to you the most? Do you believe there is still evidence that could one day reveal what happened to her? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoy carefully researched documentaries on real missing person cases and unsolved mysteries, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Every new subscriber helps keep these stories alive and ensures that those who are still missing are never forgotten. Until our next investigation, stay curious, stay compassionate, and never stop asking questions.